Gamesweasel.com. Review.
The first Dead Rising was released during the early days of the Xbox 360, and although it had lots of promise, ultimately it didn't deliver, at least for me. Sure, you could have lots of fun killing the zombies in a variety of ways, but the combat system was flawed, and the timed plot events were something that really grated. I was hoping they'd do away with these in the sequel, but they're back again, only this time far easier to manage. There are also 3 save slots for you to save to as well, so if you do wish you'd done something differently, you can at least return to a previous save, where you know you've got time to make it to the next timed event. This time you play as Chuck, who gets involved in an outbreak in Fortune City during his participation in a game show called Terror is Reality, a show where you can win cash for slaying as many zombies as possible. So, you end up in a safe house in the shopping mall and have to rescue survivors, stay alive for 3 days until help comes, and find out why the outbreak happened in the first place. You'll also have to hunt for a drug called Zombrex, which stops your sister turning into a zombie if she doesn't get a dose once every 24 hours. This sequel actually feels very similar to the first game. You can still use zombies as your playthings, putting traffic cones and buckets on their heads and hitting them with sledgehammers. There are also psychos to fight, but you can now combine items together to make more powerful weapons which give you extra prestige points. For example, you can combine some boxing gloves and motor oil to make some flaming fists, and some nails and a propane tank to make a rather effective nail bomb. This way you can level up quicker and get the ability to carry more items, move faster, and learn some new fighting moves. The zombies are actually a pushover if you don't get sloppy, but inversely, the psychos are very hard to beat. Because there's no lock-on or cover system, fights can be frustrating, especially when a successful hit seems to only take a slither of their health away. I also don't understand why there's not full voice acting in the game. When you meet survivors, you just get a text conversation, which is fine on the DS, but not in a full-price PS3 game. And you'd think after the install onto the hard drive you'd have no loading screens, but there are many, and they're about 10 seconds long each time they pop up. They appear before and during cutscenes and anytime you move between locations. They really break up the flow of the game and make it much less enjoyable as a result. The frame rate also suffers due to the amount of zombies on screen at any one time. Dead Rising 2 did make me want to play it to the end, which is more than I can say for the first game. However, I can't help get the feeling it could have done with a couple of months in development to sort out those loading screens, the combat and the shoddy frame rate. Apparently, once you've finished it, you can start again from the beginning with your new, more powerful Chuck to try and get a different ending, but I just couldn't bring myself to sit in front of those loading screens all over again. It gets 7 out of 10, but I really feel it should have got more.
You've been watching a review from Gamesweasel. If you want to get the show each week, which includes video game reviews, news, previews, competitions and special features, then head over to Gamesweasel.com for our video podcast, Gamesweasel TV.
Gamesweasel.com.